Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows everything you do. They're pretending, Truman. Do you understand? Everybody's pretending.
Lauren, I don't know.
No. My name's not Lauren. It's Sylvia. My name's Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Yeah.
What was the Truman Show trying to warn us about?
That you know what's right for him. You really think you're in a position to judge him?
What right do you have to take a baby and turn his life into some kind of mockery? Don't you ever feel guilty?
In the year of our Lord 1998, a classic Jim Carrey film premiered, one that is still looked upon as a visual example of greedy corporate manipulation, control, and the falsehood of reality, The Truman Show. Behind Truman's story lies something far deeper than mere psychological or political satire. It contains the very same questions that have been debated since the dawn of humanity. What if everything you've been told since birth is a lie? What if your entire life has been controlled by a puppet master?
1.7 billion were there for his birth.
I'm a gloomy geek, and welcome to my minute-to-minute analysis of The Truman Show.
We've become bored with watching actors give us phony emotions.
The film does not open with its protagonist, but rather by introducing us to the architect of this world, the person charged with controlling the protagonist's life, a man wearing glasses and the quintessential director's beret named Christoph. Christoph resides within a massive dome from which he orchestrates everything that transpires on the set. He is the mastermind behind the entire project. Now, the name Christoph derives from the Greek word Christos, meaning the anointed one, combined with another word, pherein, which means to carry or to bear. This implies that Christoph is the one who carries the anointed one. He is the Christ bearer. He is in charge with guarding or controlling the anointed figure of this story. This carries a distinctly religious connotation, placing the character in a position of nearly divine power. The names of other characters in the film also possesses double meanings, much like Christoph's, and we will cover each one of them in due time.
Watching actors give us phony emotions. We're tired of pyrotechnics and special effects.
The film opens with Christoph revealing the current state of his world. Society has grown bored with the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, of scripted movies, and of conventional television programs. The audience craves something new, something different, something real. Thus, this reality show arrives as a cure for the world's boredom, a television experience depicting the genuine life of an oblivious man. Given that this film premiered during an era when television was still the world's dominant source for home entertainment and news, and actors were some of the most admired individuals in the world, it was unimaginable that society would one day desire to watch the unscripted life of an ordinary man 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yet Christoph's words have proven prophetic. Social media platforms are, in essence, feeds broadcasting the unscripted real lives of millions of people, even if some aspects of their lives are fabricated.
This is serious.
Buying a new house? Drink prime.
While the world he inhabits is in some respects counterfeit, there's nothing fake about Truman himself. No scripts, no cue cards. It isn't always Shakespeare, but it's genuine.
Christoph goes on to argue that this is not Shakespeare, for Truman Burbank's life is neither a work of art nor a grand spectacle. Rather, it is a mediocre life, yet one that is undeniably real to the viewers. The Truman Show opens by posing one of the most eerie questions a film could ever ask. Is it possible for anyone to be truly genuine within a controlled society?
It's a life.
And finally, the main man himself, Truman, appears. The camera pulls back from the perspective of a mirror, only to reveal that it is in fact a screen. What Truman perceives as a mirror is actually a camera broadcasting his life to the viewing audience. Now let us pause for a moment to examine the framing of the shot in which Truman appears. He is surrounded by commercial products and speaking directly to the audience, even though he doesn't know it. The camera framing reveals something much darker. It is as if Truman were merely a product of a show.
I'm not gonna make it. You're gonna have to go on without me.
Then the show's credits begin to roll. Much like Christoph's, Truman's name holds multiple meanings. Truman is a compound word meaning true man, which explains his role in the story. He is the only authentic person in his world. His surname Burbank refers to the city in California, the capital of the film and television studio industry. The fact that Truman's surname is the name of the city suggests that he is a child of the entertainment industry. Truman does not have a normal surname because he does not live a normal life.
No way, mister. You're going to the top of this mountain, broken legs and all.
Since he was a kid, Truman has been tired of feeling stuck and longs to be an explorer, to travel the world. The idea that life is a cycle resembling an ascent and descent of a mountain serves as a reference to the myth of Sisyphus, a concept explored by Albert Camus. It is a story that analyzes the human struggle, an effort that is often futile. It all begins with Sisyphus. After his intelligence and defiance angered the gods, he was condemned to an eternity of arduous labor. Every morning he was forced to take a boulder and push it to the top of the mountain. Yet every time, when he's about to reach the top, the boulder would roll back down, forcing Sisyphus to start all over again, endlessly. The cycle of Sisyphus embodies the absurdity of having to push a boulder up a mountain without ever being to reach the top, a life trapped in an eternal recurrence with no means of escaping. Truman is Sisyphus, carrying the boulder to the mountain's peak, yet remaining completely blind to the reality of his own absurd existence.
You're going to the top of this mountain, broken legs and all.
Camus argued that one must imagine Sisyphus as happy. He embraces the boulder as a symbol of defiance against the gods. The absurd man does not need to escape the cycle to find meaning in his existence. But Truman remains unaware of his burden. He simply tries to reach the top of the mountain that he suspects might be fake. Truman's story goes beyond that of a man merely trying to carry a large rock to the top of a mountain. The film poses another question. What happens when that man realizes he no longer needs to carry that rock and chooses to stop? We move on to the film's second set of credits, and Christoph's name appears. This identifies the man as the god of this world, the person behind every idea and event that unfolds in Truman's life. What's interesting about the film's opening credits is that while they resemble the normal opening credits for a television show, instead of displaying the actors' names, they list the names of the characters they play in the movie. The line between reality and fiction is constantly toyed with throughout the movie.
We find many viewers leave him on all night for comfort.
Although the film was released in 1998, the character of Christoph perfectly described what is known today as parasocial relationships, situations in which viewers of live broadcasts invest an irrational amount of hours, money, and emotional energy in watching total strangers. This film predicted how loneliness would lead a person to live vicariously through the life of a single genuine person, since the rest of the world was fake. Thus, Truman becomes the singular, real, genuine person on television, burdened with the responsibility of living for everyone else's entertainment.
You're crazy, you know that?
Truman's second affirmation cast doubt upon his own sanity, something that, much like the very first thing we hear him say, is a recurring theme throughout the entire film. Society constantly attempts to make Truman believe he has truly lost his mind, keeping him in the dark so that the show can go on, and convincing him that most of the contradictions he encounters in his daily life are nothing more than figments of his imagination. We are then introduced to Hannah Jill as Meryl, Truman's wife. Unlike Truman, we don't see her surname, only her first name, Meryl, a name that back in 1998 was obviously shared with the famous Hollywood starlet, Meryl Streep. Her name means grace and happiness. Therefore, Meryl's acting job is to pretend to be the happily married wife. Meryl is the picture-perfect wife, yet she is not a particularly good actress, and this is one of the many reasons Truman starts to suspect that something is off.
Well, for me, there is no difference between a private life and a public life. My life is my life, is the Truman Show. The Truman Show is a lifestyle. It's a noble life. It is a truly blessed life.
Private life is an intimate personal space, unique to each individual. Public life is the realm where we coexist with others. Meryl suggests that for her, this distinction does not exist. To her, her private and public lives are, in essence, the same. The boundary separating the private from the public has vanished in this world, a state of affairs that she describes as a blessing. In the 1990s, the notion of living in a society where private and public lives were indistinguishable was unimaginable. Yet today, in 2026, it has become normal, lucrative even. Most people fail to see the line dividing public and private life, documenting or live streaming everything they do on social media. Meryl's lifestyle serves as another unsettling prophecy within this film. Yet even though Meryl claimed that her public and private lives were the same, time would eventually reveal to Truman that she kept a dark secret.
Truman! Meryl! You are scaring me!
This scene transitions to one of the film's darkest jokes.
Alright, promise me one thing, though. If I die before I reach the summit, you'll use me as an alternative source of food. Ew, gross.
Truman's remark is more than just dark humor about cannibalism. It runs much deeper, speaking to the very nature of Truman's relationship with his audience. Truman views himself as someone climbing a steep mountain, and in a sense, his viewers are already consuming him. It is a clever way of illustrating the predicament in which every character in the film finds themselves. Louis Coltrane is then introduced as Marlin. Louis is a name of Germanic Frankish origin, derived from Ludwig, a compound word of Lud, which means fame and glory, and Wig, which means war or combat. The name literally means the glorious warrior. Coltrane is a reference to the jazz musician John Coltrane, known for his use of invisible structure disguised as improvisation. Louis Coltrane operates precisely the same way. He appears to be a genuine friend to Truman, yet every moment of their relationship follows an invisible musical score orchestrated by Christoph's production team.
Don't look in the camera, say something, keep it going, keep it going. He's gone.
Marlon's name, just like Meryl's, is associated with another famous Hollywood actor, Marlon Brando, known for his talent for improvisation and his many iconic timeless roles. Marlon in The Truman Show is Judas, and he is one of the finest pretenders in Truman's life.
It's all true. It's all real. Nothing here is fake. Nothing you see on this show is fake. It's merely controlled.
What makes him interesting is how Marlon replaces the word lie with control. To Marlon, a truth that is controlled is not a lie. It is still the truth. Changing the meaning of words is a commonly used method of control. If you can manage to swap words like peace for war, strength for weakness, or lie for truth, you gain control over people's perception. Control of reality begins with control of language, a strategy Marlon understands far too well. Marlon doesn't lie, strictly speaking. Rather, he distorts language, and that makes him far more dangerous than Meryl. Finally, the film's title is revealed: The Truman Show. At first glance, it appears to be merely the name of the television program, but something far darker lies behind it. Truman functions as an adjective, not as the possessive noun. Truman describes the product, much like chicken soup. The chicken does not own the soup. It is the main ingredient. Truman does not own the show. The show owns him. The film's story is that of a man who is a product of a system that controls every aspect of his life, a fact that the man slowly begins to suspect.
Damn it. That's an order.
Shortly after Truman says to the camera, "Eat me," his wife calls out to him.
Truman, you're gonna be late.
Okay.
Truman had been engrossed in his mirror, lost in thought. Yet it was his wife who dictated what he must do, even though Meryl is merely following orders from the production team. The production team's indirect interference, carried out by the people closest to Truman, is a recurring theme throughout the film. They are constantly issuing instructions to control everything Truman says, does, and even thinks. It is here that Truman must pick up the rock and begin his ascent up the mountain with a smile on his face. We then see a text appearing on screen, day 10,909, signifying that this show has been on the air for almost 30 years. Truman steps out of his number 36 house. So indeed, every aspect of Truman's life has been meticulously crafted by Christoph. One must assume that every element of the film that is displayed holds significance, whether for the show itself or for Truman's life.
Good morning!
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
What stands out the most about Truman's greeting is that it looks and feels rehearsed, part of a persona Truman adopted to navigate his daily life. We see how his smile is constantly forced, yet to him it feels natural. Furthermore, embedded within his greeting is a farewell, just in case he never sees them again. Every greeting Truman offers also contains his goodbye, another narrative element that underscores the cyclical nature of the existence Truman is trapped in. Note that Truman issues this warning the very moment he appears on film, establishing the idea that a moment will eventually come when Truman will no longer be there to bid the viewers good night. Another noteworthy aspect of this scene is that once again, the fourth wall was broken by someone speaking directly to the viewers. The camera zooms in and switches to a fisheye lens, lending the sequence a more documentary-style aesthetic. Then Truman is startled by a dog belonging to one of his supposed neighbors. The dog's name is Pluto. And yes, the dog shares its name with Disney's famous canine character, suggesting that even the dog's name is a fabrication. It is at this moment that the first major event occurs, the catalyst that leads Truman to begin questioning his reality. A Parkan light comes loose and crashes down right in front of Truman's house. And much like a star falling from the sky, the light fell down to illuminate the path of Truman's rapidly growing doubt. The fake star was framed within a visual perspective, described by some as a star falling from the sky, landing between two white columns, suggesting it may serve as a reference to esoteric initiation rites. Thus, the scene is often interpreted as marking the beginning of a ritual, a rite of passage that Truman must undergo to awaken. Truman spots the manufacturer brand on the light, Sirius. Sirius, also known as the Dog Star, is the brightest star in the night sky and the most prominent member of the constellation Canis Major. Throughout human history, Sirius has been an object of awe and admiration for ancient civilizations across the globe. In Greek mythology, the stellar deity personifying Sirius fell in love with a fertility goddess named Opera, yet he was unable to win her affection, and so he began to burn with such intense heat that he inflicted suffering upon the humans who prayed to the gods. The intriguing parallel here lies with Sirius. His inability to be with the one he loves mirrors Truman's own predicament, a theme we will explore further in upcoming videos. Truman then gets into his car, where he is confronted by one of the most effective methods of social control ever devised by mankind, the car radio.
Here's a news flash just then. An aircraft in trouble began shedding parts as it flew over Sea Haven just a few moments ago. Oh. Wow, luckily no one was hurt. But hey, how do you feel today?
A conveniently fabricated explanation for the bizarre incident Truman had just witnessed outside his house. The harmless radio is used to divert Truman's attention from what is truly happening. Christoph repurposed the light fixture that might have illuminated Truman, transforming it into a method to reinforce the perceived dangers of air travel and thereby scaring Truman from ever wanting to get on a plane. Part of Christoph's agenda is ensuring that Truman can never fly away from his fabricated world. This is why the town is named Sea Haven. It is a paradise, and everything beyond it is told to be dangerous. That is the narrative the system has been installing into Truman since childhood. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Truman will soon discover that lying beneath the surface of his perfect society, there is a big lie, one created to control him and fuel an entertainment conglomerate, The Truman Show. I'm a Gloomy Geek, and don't forget to like and subscribe.